Families of the Bondi massacre victims have penned an open letter to Anthony Albanese calling for him to immediately establish a federal royal commission into the attack. Joining us live is Nationals leader David Littleproud. We're seeing growing pressure for that potential federal royal commission. What do you think, David?
Well, if I don't know what else this Prime Minister needs other than letters from the grieving family to change his mind about a Commonwealth Royal Commission, I don't know what else he needs. He's tone deaf, he's out of step with the rest of the nation. We've even had the former AFP Commissioner McKilty today also come out and say that a Commonwealth Royal Commission is appropriate and required, because we even saw during the Lint Commission of Inquiry in New South Wales that federal agencies were not compelled to answer all the questions or in full. And what we need and what the Jewish community, what Bondi community and what the Australian community expect is for answers to be given and that all the questions be put. And when you've got state jurisdictions, not just New South Wales, we've got anti-Semitism right across this country. And each state has their own counter-terrorism unit. We need to know how they interact, how they intersect with federal agencies and how that's coordinated even between state jurisdictions to make sure that we are sharing information. But the warning signs were there for 2.5 years prior when that imam spewed hate on the steps of the Sydney Opera House. I would have thought that the following warning signs of fire bombings on the streets and then on the synagogue, and then we've seen another one even last week, that the Prime Minister is out of step with a grieving nation, grieving families, in understanding the gravity of what this nation expects. In this time, in this moment where our nation, our society has slipped, our nation's looking for leadership, not a Prime Minister that's walking away from it. This is his moment, and if he walks away from it, all for what seems just like political expedience, then I think the Australian people will stop listening to him. And that's the reality of where we're getting at the moment. He's become out of step with the rest of the nation, understanding the grief, not just in the Jewish community, but in the Bondi community, but right across this nation. That if a Prime Minister doesn't act, I think the Australian people will rightfully stop listening to him altogether.
Switching topics, David, the Bureau of Meteorology says that a new rain radar won't be ready for another 2 years. It's talking about the 1,200-kilometre blind spot in the state of Queensland in the southwest. What are you hearing from people who live in that area?
Well, we saw in April this year where the small town of Adabale, 27 people nearly lost their lives. They had no warning of a weather front that came across from Alice Springs through to the western parts of near Quilpie. And basically, those people, their lives matter just as much as someone in Brisbane, Sydney or Melbourne. The fact they live in outback Queensland and they don't have the tools, the information in their hour of need is an indictment. The government has made a commitment, but, you know, when you've got a Bureau of Meteorology that is struggling to even be able to put together a website with $96 million, I'm hardly surprised that they can put a new radar together for probably a fraction of that, probably a third of that price at best. This is something where the Bureau has just proven their business model has been to fail and to simply ask the taxpayer for more money. Whether it's websites, whether it's forecasts, whether it's actually even weather recordings, the Bureau is out and out continually. And this is where we've got a broken institution. We're trying to give them the tools that would help, but also when you talk about radar is the one tool that people can use, and it's not a forecast, it's real. And that's where it will be about saving lives. And I just say to the Minister, take control of the Bureau. If you haven't had enough warning signs on that either, then I don't know what more you need.
We've got 30 seconds, David. A lot of rain through the northern parts of the country, inland Queensland, roads blocked, flood warnings. What's your message?
Yeah, look, listen to the authorities. These men and women are putting their lives on the line for you. You owe it to them to simply adhere to their advice and not to think that she'll be right. A she'll be right attitude will see your life lost. So it's important you listen, you act immediately, but you put in place preparations now. Get cattle up, get whatever you need in and stay put. It's as simple as that.
Nationals leader David Littleproud, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.